We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Journal Newsbreak for Friday, April 6th. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer, and we're going to take a look at the top news and sports stories from Northeast Mississippi. But first, let's start with the weather forecast. Today we're looking at thunderstorms. It's a 90% chance of rain with a high of 64 and a low down to 39. Looking ahead at your 3-day outlook, Saturday partly cloudy and cool, high of 51 and a low of 33. Sunday partly cloudy with a high of 64 and a low of 48. And for Monday, again partly cloudy, high is at 69 and the low is at 42. Let's take a look now at today's top headlines. Mississippi has received positive results from its incentive programs designed to entice companies to locate in the state. That is according to a study conducted by the Office of Auditor Stacey Pickering. Pickering's office found that the state has had a return of $12 for each dollar it has invested in 5 incentive programs operated by the Mississippi Development Authority. It takes into account several failures that have the potential to cost the state $185 million. The 243 projects studied date back to 2010. The audit cited 11 failed projects and noted efforts are still underway to recoup lost state funds in some of those projects. The biggest losses were from Styon and Kyor. Pickering said in a news release that economic development projects have been good for Mississippi. He also said the legislature should continue efforts to put in place safeguards to properly monitor incentive programs offered by the state. Pickering said the 5 programs studied have generated nearly 36,000 jobs and more than $8 billion in investment. Longtime Mississippi Republican Andy Taggart announced on Thursday he will not enter the U.S. Senate special election. Taggart had previously said he was contemplating running. Taggart is an attorney and is the former chief of staff to Governor Kirk Fordyce during the 1990s. He made his announcement on social media. He also said that the positive reaction he has received all over the state from people who join him in support of a new state flag gives him hope that such a change will become a reality. With Taggart opting not to enter the race to replace Thad Cochran, that leaves 4 announced candidates for the November 6th special election. Those are Republicans Cindy Hyde-Smith and Chris McDaniel, and Democrats Jason Shelton and Mike Espy. Meanwhile, Lee County Democratic Party Chairman Jamie Franks also said this week he will not enter the election. Franks had also previously contemplated making a run. Franks said that he and Shelton are friends and that he will not run against Shelton. Work on the Salvation Army's new homeless shelter began earlier this week. However, organization officials say funding is short for renovations to existing facilities. The Salvation Army has enough funds to start the construction process due to pledge grants from a major fundraiser conducted 2 years ago. The initial fundraiser brought in about $2.5 million within 6 weeks. Salvation Army Major Jeff Daniels said around $1.5 million was originally slated for construction and $1 million was slated for renovations. However, the price has increased and an additional $300,000 is needed to complete renovations. Salvation Army Advisory Board member Dan Franklin said board members met with engineers and contractors working on the homeless shelter Wednesday to approve construction at the site. Daniel said the new building should be completed within 8 months of its foundation being installed. Officials estimate it could be done by the fall or by Christmas. The existing lodging has not been renovated since the late 1980s. The plan calls for the 2 rooms for men and women to be expanded. Daniel said the existing facility also needs a new roof, new floors, new light fixtures, and updated heating and air conditioning units. And in sports, the Mississippi State baseball team has lost its first 3 series in SEC play. But the Bulldogs still have a chance to get back on track as they face a gauntlet of top teams over the final 2 months. 6 of MSU's final 7 SEC series come against teams ranked in the top 20 in RPI. First comes a 3-game series with 3rd-ranked Ole Miss starting tonight at 6:30. The 2 teams also will meet in Starkville on Saturday at 2 and on Sunday at 1. The Rebels have now won 3 straight SEC series to start league play. But the Ole Miss bullpen is looking for a bounce-back weekend after nearly blowing an 8-2 lead in last Saturday's series finale against Arkansas. Ole Miss carries a 2.96 team earned run average into the series. The Rebels are one of 4 SEC teams below 3. And that does it for Newsbreak on this Friday. Don't forget that this show is just one of the many online offerings, courtesy of the Daily Journal, that gets you news off the page and on the go. Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans listen to the Double Coverage podcast with beat reporters Parrish Alford and Logan Lowry. On Thursday's episode, they talked about women's basketball, spring football, and baseball. Check it out in Apple Podcasts or Google Play or online at doublecoverage.thejournal.com. Any story discussed on Newsbreak can be found in your Daily Journal or online at thejournal.com, where you can also find a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Friday.